She doesn't have to be perfect. She can still have her insecurities and fears from her past, but she knows that she's not broken. She knows that she is worthy of love and she trusts in her heart and soul and in her mirror soul. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Core Union. I want to talk about assigning positive meaning to anything and everything that happens between you and your true love, your mirror soul. This is incredibly important. A lot of times when people are in the unfolding with their true love, if it's been a certain amount of time, months, or for some people, even longer. And I know sometimes people get triggered when you talk about the time element, and I understand why, but you have to really realize that whatever starts to unfold, it's not your end. It's not your end. It's just the beginning of the unfolding. Sometimes people mistake the first bit of contact, for example, as the end. And if everything doesn't just boom, like show up for them in alignment with what they were doing there in their work, they get in their feelings about it, and then they are assigning negative meaning again. I have an email from a client that I do want to read. It's very short and sweet, just illustrating how, through the work that we've done together, she was sensing what she at first, she was thinking was her mirror soul starting to be distant instead of falling for the old story of the abandonment wound. She did something that was very simple and it everything unfolded really beautifully for it. And she saw the loving, deep, meaningful meaning behind his distance. So, anyway, this is kind of what I wanted to talk about today. If you do love my content, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Helps me grow. I appreciate you. If you want me to be your coach to help you manifest anything related to your specific person, whether you are in a preparation stage or if you are with your person and it just hasn't fully unfolded into the relationship that you know deep down in your heart and soul what you mean to each other, email a short description to kim@coreunion.com. Then go to the website, coreunion.com, book either a single session or a package. Most people prefer the package because you do get a discounted rate on seeing me more than once. And then Olga, my scheduling assistant, will reply back to you within a day or so with my next available session. Like I was saying, sometimes people mistake movement, the unfolding, as being the final whatever, like their end, and it's not their end. It's just showing you that the inner work that you have been doing is starting to reflect back to you in your life. That's all that it is. But you still have to persist. You still have to be consistent. The duration of time, it can be a hang up for a lot of people. So they're being consistent, but sometimes they're being consistent in their fears and their doubts and their limiting beliefs. And they're kind of staying like they're doing some inner work in the morning or maybe somewhere throughout the day sporadically, but then they consistently watch for it. And desire itself is good. The desire, like I have a burning desire for the things in my life, right? It's the fear of the lack of it. It's the desperation and the anxiousness that is you embodying the version of you that actually doesn't trust in yourself, or your person doesn't trust in the love and doesn't necessarily believe that the end already exists, because if you did, you wouldn't be in the desperate, anxious energy. That being said, it is normal to waver. It's normal to have doubts, but you just don't want to dwell in that energy. That's all. Okay. But it is normal to have doubts. If you stay ruminating and stay living from the end of your fear and your doubt, then obviously your life is your mirror. So your life is always going to have to give that back to you. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So when you are in the unfolding with your person, it's really important for you to assign positive meaning to everything. All right. So I'm going to read this and I intend that it inspires you by what my client wrote, and she wanted me to share this with you. Hi, I'd like to share something that hopefully inspires other people on your channel. So feel free to share this. For me, it's been a big eye opener that it's not so much about the things that happen, but it's about the meaning or interpretation I give to them, and that I can give something another meaning. A few days ago, my mirror soul was suddenly quiet. At first, it made me anxious and I got triggered in my abandonment wound. But then I thought of how you had said not to give it the meaning that he was pulling away, as that interpretation would actually make him pull away. I told myself instead that he was just busy with something for me and for us, and there was nothing to worry about. So I gave it another meaning. And instead of sending him a message to seek his attention and wanting to get reassurance in some way, what I normally would have done, I just did nothing. And I trusted that he would reach out to me naturally. And of course, he did. He told me he'd been busy searching for movies for us to watch together. It took him time because he'd been pre watching several of them. He knew that I'm easily triggered by violence because of my past, and he wanted to make sure he chose the right movies for us that wouldn't be triggering for me. Thank you, Kim, for this beautiful and very helpful insight. And thank you for sending that in. This is very meaningful, and I think it's going to be very helpful for a lot of people in the community. So I've had clients, like, for example, I just shared something around Christmas or New Year's with one of my clients who is now back together with her person. She has been in the unfolding for um, probably a couple months now. When things first started to unfold, and she got to this point where she was really turning within and loving herself and catching those moments where she was assigning negative meaning. Eventually, when they started spending more time together and starting communicating more, he did eventually share with her that not only does he love her, but he is in love with her. Now, this was after a year of a preparation stage. So they had broke up, breakup is just a shakeup, right? They broke up, they went into the separation, in other words, preparation stage for a year. And for a lot of that duration, she was wavering a lot. The thing I wanted to share with this video today, which I didn't share, I don't think, in the previous video, because I do think it's important because it ties right into what this other client just shared. When they started communicating more, the feedback that she got from her mirror soul was that sometimes he wants to communicate, he wants to, do this or that, but sometimes when she communicates, she's very mean to him. So that sets him back. Sometimes you're projecting a lot of anger and sadness and frustration, and it can be very manipulative energy and it can be very painful energy. That's misaligned. Obviously, that's not in alignment with your soul, your soulful love, right? Just like with my client here, she chose not to project her wound, assign positive meaning, got back in her power, in her end, in her love for her and her person, went into trust, and immediately sees such thoughtfulness, such consideration and love of her feelings. She doesn't have to be perfect. She can still have her insecurities and fears from her past, but she knows that she's not broken. She knows that she is worthy of love and she trusts in her heart and soul and in her mirror soul. And then what a beautiful reflection that she got. Sometimes, if people have other core wounds, not only around abandonment, but maybe even around not being chosen or there being a form of competition, this is a very common one. If a lot of the time that you're doing the inner work, you're fearful of there being someone else, and a lot of your energy and time throughout the day is fearful of that, anxious of that, watching for it. Unfortunately, your reality, again, you are consciousness having the human experience. So even though I know that you don't desire this, consciousness, reality is one with you. So your reality is your perfect mirror and will reflect that back to you. When it happens, if it happens, be honest with yourself. Was this something I was fearful of? Yes or no? Yes, it was. So you're basically seeing the personification of your belief system. So you then have another choice. You can choose to see, well, I fell for this. This is very painful, but at the same token, this is what I was worried about. So now it's showing itself to me. So now, what is it that I want? And then you'd have to go within, probably do some forgiveness with yourself and your person, learn from this, and don't consistently waver. Don't be hot and cold yourself. Don't be in and out, trust, doubt, trust, doubt. Stay, get in alignment and stay in alignment. Make a decision, choose, and then stick with that decision. If it means that you and your person end up not communicating for a little while, it's okay. All right. Anyway, please affirm down below. I've received this message. I trust and know that everything in my heart and soul exists. Everything that I want is done. Me and my mirror soul love each other deeply. Our love is stable, secure, and harmonious. And obviously, reach out if you need me. I love you. Have an amazing day. Bye.